Get ready, because today we're diving into an explosive episode in the world of The View, where Elon Musk was called the President of the United States. Trump becomes the villain, and we're on the brink of a collapse. That's exactly what you heard. These hosts have crossed the line today. Stay until the end, because we're going to reveal all the hypocrisy that the media tries to hide.
As D.C. barrels towards yet another government shutdown, a bipartisan bill to keep the lights on was scrapped. And it has a lot of folks asking, who is in charge? Because I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president, because I don't know what JD is doing. I hardly ever say, I don't remember the last time we even talked about JD.
You're right. He's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
So you think it's Musk, Musk-Vance?
Possible.
Hey, you know who? Stay away from the stairways. Because, you know, people put the leg out to trip you going down the stairs. Watch out. But it kind of seems like maybe he is the president because he got a promotion of some sort that none of us knew about.
Do WHOOPI and company really understand what is going on? Or are they actually adding fuel to the fire to gain more viewership? But the question that won't be silenced, since when did a businessman who creates jobs and innovations become public enemy number one? Maybe it's because Musk is trying to challenge the Washington system. And why does this bother the progressive elite so much? And the worst is coming now, you see, folks. They're trying to link Trump to Musk in a Mexican soap opera of tragedy. It's real.
What's your message to Elon Musk?
Well, I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either.
It's pretty clear that they were about to pass the bill, and Musk intervened, and Trump followed him, and now we're headed into this crisis period. Eventually, they're going to have to get together and decide who the president is.
So, I mean, why?
The long-standing D.C. tradition, if we want to call it that the Congress decides until the 11th hour right before Christmas to fund the government. Why? And it's ridiculous. They think jet fumes and getting home for the holidays makes people more likely to compromise. But Trump doesn't want this bill, this government funding bill passed, because he doesn't want the debt ceiling to be raised in June when he's president. Republicans generally don't want to vote to raise the debt ceiling. They generally don't want to sign into law an increase in it. So Trump's actually aligned with Elon on this. Here's what I'm fascinated by. They both have main character energy. They both want to be powerful and the people in charge. And I'm not convinced that this alliance is going to be super long lasting. There's just a chance there's going to be friction between Elon and Trump. But I will say this, there was a micro drama brewing. Nick Jonas, one of my other favorite Jonas brother, retweeted something with Elon Musk, and people just dragged him and came for him and were like, how could you support this guy? I would just remind folks, we think of Elon as like the chaotic guy who tweets about politics on the internet. A lot of America thinks of a guy who builds rockets, who created Starlink, which could save thousands of lives.
Here's the thing, he's on track to be the first trillionaire in this country. And he wants to cut funding for farmers, for example. You know, as they say, no farmers, no food.
No,
and other working people. Well, so he's like the Grinch who stole Christmas, this guy. So why should anybody praise him?
My point is the disconnect, I think, between like average Americans who think of him and associate him with actually great things he's done. Tesla has done great things for this country and for this economy. And they're not thinking about that he's tweeting about government funding bills or conspiracy theories.
Of course, right, people, because if something goes wrong in D.C., it's Trump's fault. And now, has Elon Musk actually become the evil mastermind behind this political chaos? They might as well say he controls the weather and the tides. But have you noticed that when it comes to a crisis, the left never really points out who is to blame? What is incompetence? And who is the next target of the progressive clique on The View? Wait until you hear what they're going to say about American workers.
The problem is people really need to understand that he is not an elected official.
Yeah.
So he's in an advisory position, and so he's going to have conflict of interest with all of his businesses, because if he were an elected official, there would be a system of checks and balances, and he would have to divest from those businesses. So he's going to earn money from our government while running our government. And as Hakeem Jeffries said in a press conference, but also in this tweet, he said House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government, hurt the working class Americans they claim to support. You break the bipartisan agreement, you own the consequences that follow. And that the consequences are exactly, Joy, what you're talking about. They are hurting working people. You want to keep on saying they're hurting their own voters. Everybody keeps on saying, oh, you know, the Republicans are now the party of the working class. Well, working class is about to be
Well, and let us
hurt by
remember,
this.
when the government shuts down, Congress still receives pay, which I think should not.
Members, but not staff. That always irks me.
Members, but
Not
they also,
staff.
in the spending bill, asked for a raise. And normally I'm all for people having living wages, but they make $175,000, which is more than 90% of this country. If they cannot figure out how to do the one job they have, which is not bend the knee to their party, but serve the people, they don't deserve a raise, and they should not get one.
They want to convince you that Musk is the villain, just because he wasn't elected. What an irony, right, folks? After all, Elon Musk creates way more jobs than those politicians they idolize, right? But things get even more absurd. When they decide to talk about the elite, guys, this one will knock you off your chair.
Well, Whoopi just handed this card. There's a lot of conflicts of interest with Elon Musk. Tesla received $41.9 million in federal contracts, about $4.9 billion in government subsidies.
Yes, they did.
A $465 million low-interest loan from the Department of Energy when the company began.
So, and these are all the things he wants to cut.
Yes.
That's the piss off.
Yes.
He wants to cut, he wants to keep other people from getting these same subsidies. I don't understand. You know, listen, they keep talking about how the elites are in. Well, now the elites are in, and this is how elites treat you.
Yes,
This is how elites do it.
That's right.
I mean, where I'm at on the government funding bill is this. If Republicans are going to throw Mike Johnson under the bus for compromising and coming up with a bipartisan deal that Democrats were going to vote for, then they need to come up with how, with their 1-2 seat majority, they can pass it with all Republican votes.
But when they
And
vote
that's going to be a lot harder to do.
Somebody told me when they vote secretly, like they did in this case, was it, or was it Matt Gaetz' case?
Oh, it was,
That was Gates.
It was Gates.
Then they vote different, though, when they are
Well, that's
Yeah.
what leadership
Anonymous.
races are often different results than what you would publicly expect because nobody sees how they're
Well,
voting.
and
That should be the
also
way it's
think
done.
about this. If they don't vote publicly, Musk warned on X, any member of the House or Senate who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years.
But I don't understand. You are not in office yet.
Yes, but
you
he
are not
has that
elected
power.
official. You are not an elected official.
Yeah.
And somebody has to come up with how this is going to work, because there can't be 9 presidents.
No.
It just can't be. You know.
They keep insisting that he won a mandate. He did not win a
Who
mandate.
won a mandate?
Trump.
That they say that Trump won in a mandate. He did not win in a mandate. I
Yeah,
mean,
meaning
he did not.
that he won
He won
overwhelmingly.
by 1.5%
million
or
votes.
something.
About a million
it doesn't
votes.
matter.
It was a very
he
close
won.
race.
He won. He's the one that we have to have this
Yeah,
dialogue
people voted
with.
for Trump. They didn't
Yes.
vote for
And who would have thought, huh? They complain about the elite while idolizing the government, while defending a government that doles out billions in subsidies to Democratic-aligned corporations, and laymen's who may be rich, but he's creating real value, while these politicians are just creating debt. If you think The View has hit rock bottom, wait, because there's a lot more to come. Until you see what they're saying about Musk and Trump and what they're plotting.
for Elon
They
Musk.
didn't vote for E.
I was asking Alyssa backstage, so let's say this shutdown happens, right? And it's happened before. What happens to the country?
So it can have major economic consequences. To give people, to assuage some fears, Social Security still goes out. Medicare and Medicaid does. Troops will work without pay. They will get back pay after
Unbelievable.
the fact. The Defense Department is still funded, so our operations, our country's still safe.
troops don't get
small,
paid?
not until afterwards. Small business loans will be paused. WIC benefits can be temporarily stopped. It's pretty catastrophic, and it's everyone in D.C. knows it's terrible for the government to shut down. They've got to get this figured out, and if they have to stay and work
They
through Christmas,
literally have
then they work through.
one job.
One job.
One job.
Fund it.
But they're being led by 7,000 people.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their finger in here. It's different if you're on a show and you have an opinion. That's different. When you're doing what this guy is doing, it's not right. You are not an elected official. People didn't vote for you. Now, if you want to be an elected official, then come out and say, listen, I want to run for the presidency.
He can't, because he's South African born.
Yes.
He's a U.S. citizen, but
he's
yeah,
a
he
U.S.
can't run for
citizen.
president.
He can't run
But
for
you know,
president.
they are
Good run for
saying now,
Congress.
you
Is
know,
he legal?
U.S. citizen.
Well-
Yes, he is. He is legal. He
Actually,
is legal.
Rand Paul suggested this morning that they should make Elon the Speaker of the House. Because remember how it
Oh,
doesn't
they
have to be.
technically could.
It
could
doesn't have to be
happen.
someone within Congress.
Then he would never do it. He would have to give up
Yeah.
some of these government
He'd have to give
contracts.
up stuff.
And by the way, that work he's doing is more important. That's good work. Keep building rockets and
Yeah, do your
Starlink
thing.
and all
Let
that.
these people
gonna
do
get
what
in
they're
one of
supposed
them.
to do.
Once again, they're trying to paint Donald Trump as the architect of chaos, the villain of the story. But they forget that the Biden administration has accumulated a lot of debt. But do you know what they don't mention? That the Biden administration has already set records for spending and debt. They don't mention that, do they? But attacking Donald Trump is their favorite hobby.
I want to know.
Hey, I need to clean something up because my cat lays in wait for me on my stairs all the time. And that's what I was thinking of that. I wasn't trying to indicate that they were actually standing there with their legs out, hoping he would trip.
No, nobody wants
light-
anything done
No,
to the
it was
president.
it was lighthearted, and it's the holidays. Come on, my goodness.
You did not mean that anybody should hurt the president.
No,
Of course not.
Okay, you know, the thing about this show, there is no way not to step in poo. There's no way to do it. There's no way not to do it. So,
true.
for all of you who are waiting and saying, "Oh my God, listen to what she said," I got a cat who does it to me every day, and that's what sparked it.
Just when you think The View can't get worse, Whoopi arrives with a ridiculous excuse, leaving even her fans feeling desperate and embarrassed. Another episode showing they're out of touch, trying to blame Musk and Trump for everything. So, folks, here's another episode where they show they're completely out of touch. They try to convince us that Musk and Trump are to blame for everything. Meanwhile, they ignore, right? They try to convince us that Musk and Trump, they are to blame for everything. Meanwhile, they ignore, right? The real problem that the Biden administration caused. But there it is, the clear truth for anyone who wants to see, raw and unfiltered. Did you like this video? Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Everyone, until our next video,